Like, Minecraft is many things to many people. It is a creative tool, it is a game to get immersed in, it is anything that you would want it to be. Ray tracing is one of the key innovations that we think is next for Minecraft.
Our tech gives us that custom flavor for each block that you can't see anywhere else. We wanted to keep the authentic look of Minecraft and still push the boundaries with ray tracing.
RTX gives the Minecraft world a brand new feel to it. In normal Minecraft, a block of gold just appears yellow. But with ray tracing turned on, you really get to see the specular highlight, you get to see the reflection, you can even see a mob reflected in it. When light catches ore deep in a cave and you see it's diamond, you get that rush of excitement in a way you haven't had before. We can see the subtle reflections in the wood planks, the light seeping in through the windows. They hit the colored carpet and reflect off the wall and subtly color the walls and the environment all around them. Now that we can model each individual light ray, we have the opportunity to simulate these advanced materials like ice. Emissive blocks, such as lava, now glow with more intensity, radiating blooms of light that cast onto adjacent blocks, revealing reflections of the ore. We can model exactly how light filters through foliage as it lands on the ground. We can model the atmospheric density. As light comes through, it forms natural light shafts. With RTX and Minecraft, water now looks like water. You see the reflection, you see the refraction, you see the color transmission through the surface. Working with NVIDIA to implement ray tracing for Minecraft,
Imagine feeling fearless at the dentist. Act anti-cavity. Stop imagining. Start acting.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you some shaders that you should be able to run on pretty much anything you would like, as long as it can turn on and actually play Minecraft. So if you're still playing Minecraft on something that looks like this, you just might have a chance to run some of these shaders. So anyways, let's go ahead and check them out. Now this first shader I'm actually going to be showing you guys is still fairly resource intensive. However, I decided to include it in this list just because how amazing it looks for the performance you get. And as you can see, I'm still sitting around 90 FPS, but keep in mind I'm playing at 1440p, which is a lot higher than the usual 1080. And the fact that it can actually pull off this performance and still look this good is pretty amazing, so I decided it should probably be on this list anyway. The next shader up is the Sildur's Vibrant Shaders Medium version, and this one is still fairly resource intensive, although a bit lighter than the previous one. And this one also looks pretty good for what it gives you, but if you're still looking for something even easier to run, go ahead and keep watching, because as this list goes on, each shader will give you higher and higher FPS. Next up is ChalkPick 13's Better Default, and this is the first shader on this list that truly gives you some very high FPS, and as you can see, it pretty much looks like vanilla Minecraft, except as you can see there are shadows and moving plants and stuff like that. And overall it has a pretty simple look to it, which is part of the reason why it gives you such a high FPS. The next shader is the Sildur's Enhanced Default, and this is similar to the ChalkPick one, except it actually looks, in my opinion, even closer to default, except with obviously shadows and moving plants. And it really comes down to preference, which one you like between this one and ChalkPick's. In my opinion, I like the Sildur's more, but they give you pretty similar performance, so in the end of the day, it's up to you. Up next is the ChalkPick 13's Toaster Edition, and as you can tell by the name, this one is definitely made for performance, and it actually still looks pretty decent, nothing compared to like the first one, for example, but that's not really what you're after. If you're watching this video, you're looking for some very high FPS, which this shader definitely provides, with some pretty good visuals. Up next is a very basic shader, and this one doesn't actually add any shadows to your game, but as you can see, there are still moving plants and the lighting has been changed quite a bit, and this is actually the shader I used in my Recreating Hytale series, and it still looks really good, plus you get an incredibly high FPS with it. Alright, the last shader I have for you guys is the Waving Plants shader, and this is definitely the most basic basic one on the list, although that's not necessarily a bad thing because it makes it so obviously all the plants in your game will move, and this is a really nice effect that most shaders have, and kind of actually probably why most people install shaders. So if you can't run any of the others, definitely install this one. I actually used this back in the day when I did not have a good computer, and it pretty much doesn't even hurt your FPS at all, so you should be able to use it. Alright, that's the end of this video, and if you still couldn't run any of these shaders, I do apologize, but it's
I've got 4 daughters in college, but I've also got a burning desire to buy a massive new 4K TV.
Football season.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make Minecraft look absolutely incredible, and this is going to require a fairly powerful PC if you would like to do this, although you can always adjust things based on your PC's needs. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, the first mod we're going to be installing is the Optifine mod, and this is probably the most important mod on this entire list because it'll allow us to install shaders and use higher resolution resource packs. And this is the point you're going to select what shader you would like to use. I personally would recommend Sildur's, as in my opinion it's one of the best looking shaders you can install and actually has pretty good performance. Next up, we'll be selecting our resource pack, and this will come down to whether you would like it to look more realistic or fairly cartoonish. If you're looking for more realistic textures, I would go with the Pultra resource pack. You can get the 128 resolution version for free, although if you would like to get the higher resolution ones, you will have to pay, but in my opinion, you really don't have to go much higher than 128. And if you'd like a more cartoonish resource pack, go with Pure BD Craft. I think this is one of the best looking resource packs you can get. And again, for this video, I installed the 128 resolution version. Next up, we'll be installing the Better Foliage mod, and this just makes the foliage in your world look a whole lot better, and you can customize each section of the mod, so if you don't like the look of something, you can just turn it off. And if you'd like to increase your performance a bit, you can actually go into this mod's settings and turn on dense mode for the trees, and then set your trees to fast graphics, and this could actually help your FPS quite a bit. Next, we're going to be installing a mod for our world generation, and there's going to be 2 choices that I have, and these are Recurrence Complex or Biome Bundle, and I wanted to select a mod that doesn't add any new blocks to the game, such as Biomes of Plenty, because if you use this mod, it's going to look out of place with whatever resource pack you have. And if you'd like to keep fairly vanilla world generation, but would like everything else to be a bit better, go ahead and install Recurrent Complex, but if you'd like the world generation to be completely overhauled, install Biome Bundle. Up next, we will be installing the Cork mod, and while this mod does have many awesome features, the main reason I actually decided to install it is because it adds speleothems to caves, and in my opinion, this makes caves look way better than they did before, and that alone was worth installing this mod. The next mod up is the Fancy Block Particles mod, and this mod is a pretty simple one, however the effect is very nice. What it does is essentially makes it so every particle in the game is now 3D, so when you break a block it just turns into a bunch of smaller blocks, and overall it's just a very nice effect. Next up, we'll be installing the Better Animal Models mod, and this mod replaces most of the creatures in Minecraft with better looking versions, and installing this mod truly comes down to preference, so if you aren't a fan of the appearance, you don't really have to install it. Animania is the next mod up, and this mod replaces all of the vanilla Minecraft passive mobs with a huge variety of new ones, and it also adds a bunch of new mobs to the game, and overall it just makes the diversity of creatures in your world much better. The last mod I have on this list that adds a bunch of new to the game is the Exotic Birds mod, and in my opinion, adding a bunch of birds to the game, it just makes your world feel much more alive, and it truly does significantly add to the visuals. For this last section, you're gonna have to decide if you'd rather be playing in first or third person. If you like playing in first person more, go ahead and install the first person render mod, and this will actually allow you to see your entire body in first person. And if you'd rather be playing in third person, go ahead and install a combination of Shoulder Surfing Reloaded and the Mobens mod, and this just makes third person way better than it was before. You can try to combine the Mobens mod with the first person render mod, however it has some pretty buggy visuals, so I tend to stay away from that. Now that we have everything installed, let's go ahead and get into some gameplay.
Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient. Shock advised. Charging. Deliver shock. Stay clear of patient. Do not touch the patient. Shock delivered. Do not touch the patient. Analyzing heart rhythm. Check pulse. It is safe to touch the patient. If needed, begin CPR.